What's up, Bulldogs? Today we are going to be talking about Seneca. We're going to be continuing the series on Seneca's letters to Lucilius. If you have not been following along and you want to start from the beginning, just go ahead and click here in the cards and you can start at letter 1. I'm going to be going through all the letters of Seneca, one of the best, probably the best written down thing on Stoic philosophy, the best that I have ever read. Seneca is the man, and I'm going to be going through it and explaining it here. And if you're not subscribed already, you want to make sure you continue to get these videos. Click the subscribe button down below, click the bell so you get the notifications, and check out the cards. There's some cool stuff in there. All right, so I want to get right into this here so that those of you that are waiting can just get going here. And we're going to be looking at letter 29 today if you want to follow along on the critical condition of Marcellinus. Let's do it that way. All right. He said sometimes these names are hard to pronounce. 1. You have been inquiring about our friend Marcellinus, and you desire to know how he is getting along. He seldom comes to see me for no other reason than that he is afraid to hear the truth, and at present he is removed from my danger of hearing it, for one must not talk to a man unless he is willing to listen. That is why it is often doubted whether Diogenes and the other Cynics, who employed an undiscriminating freedom of speech and offered advice to anyone who came in their way, ought to have pursued such a plan. He's got this friend, Marcellinus, okay, and he's basically disappeared, right? This is like someone who owes you money, okay? And why? Why is he removed? Because he's not in the danger of hearing the truth. So, you've done this before. You stick your head in the sand where you don't go and talk to someone you know that is going to give you the truth that you need to hear, okay? This is human nature. He says also, it's kind of interesting why, so he says, one must not talk to a man unless he is willing to listen. This is a very important lesson. And he talks about how the Cynics, which is another philosophical school, that they just offered advice to anyone who came in. Whereas the Stoics were more like a little bit more don't throw pearls to swine in their approach, right? And this is a really good thing, is to understand that if you start trying to tell people that don't ask for your advice, even the people that ask for your advice, they don't really want your advice. They want you to agree with them, to tell them what they already think. If you start doing that, you're going to make a lot of enemies. You're going to create a lot of envy. It's not going to go well for you, okay? And you're going to waste your fucking time. The test for me, okay, when someone is not only willing to listen, they come to me and they start taking action, okay? I won't help someone unless I give them a little piece of advice and they take it and then they come back for more, okay? That's the way to handle this, okay? A lot of you email me and you're like, oh, my friend, my cousin, whatever, my family, how can I help them? How can I help them develop the Bulldog mindset or the Stoic mindset? And I want to help them. You can't. Sorry. There's nothing that you can do. Believe me, if it were possible, I would have done it. I have plenty of losers that are in some way either related to me or friends of the family. There's plenty of people in my circle, let's say, that I can't help. Sorry. And I probably will never be able to help them. No matter how much money I make, no matter how much wisdom I gain, no matter how stoic I become or how much of a bulldog mindset that I obtain, it doesn't fucking matter, because you can't help a man that is not willing to be helped. Number 2, for what if one should chide the deaf or those who are speechless from birth by illness? But you answer, why should I spare words? They cost nothing. I cannot know whether I shall help the man whom I give advice. But I know well that I shall help someone if I advise many. I must gather this advice by the handful. It is impossible that one who tries often should not sometime succeed. So there's an argument here. He's saying, well, what about the argument that it doesn't cost me anything to talk to people? I might as well just throw this advice everywhere, and somewhere maybe it'll stick and I'll have helped someone, okay? Here's his response. Number 3, this very thing, my dear Lucilius, is, I believe, exactly what a great-souled man ought not to do. His influence is weakened. It has too little effect upon those whom it might have set right if it had not grown so stale. The archer ought not to hit the mark only sometimes. he ought to miss it only sometimes. That which takes effect by chance is not an art. Now, wisdom is an art. It should have a definite aim, choosing only those who will make progress, but withdrawing from those whom it has come to regard as hopeless. Yet not abandoning them too soon, and just when the case is becoming hopeless, trying drastic remedies. He's basically comparing to an archer. He's saying, like, if you just keep on doing this everywhere, one, it's not going to be any kind of skill. It's not going to be any credit to you if you're just proliferating advice, okay? Without, it's like being an archer that's just shooting arrows and only sometimes he hits. You want to be the archer that only sometimes misses, okay? That's important. Otherwise, how can you say that you have any kind of skill in anything, right? And again, he's saying here that, wisdom is an art. It should have a definite aim. You should have a reason why, choosing only those who will make progress, but withdrawing from those whom it has regards as hopeless. Okay, so again, but he's saying here that if someone is becoming hopeless, you should try really hard to save them. But there are people that are already hopeless. They're already in that default state, right? You cannot reach them, right? The people that are already receptive, that you can reach, that you can save them from going down into a bad path, save them, save your friends, help them. But don't try and give advice. Don't try and just like spread it everywhere. It's gonna be watered down. It won't be as effective, right? Again, people are not gonna listen to you. You're not gonna have as much credibility. Number 4, as to our friend Marcellinus, I have not yet lost hope. He can still be saved, but the helping hand must be offered soon. There is indeed danger that he may pull his helper down, for there is in him a native character of great vigor, though it is already inclining to wickedness. Nevertheless, I shall brave this danger and be bold enough to show him his fault. So this is interesting. Again, it might seem that he is being hypocritical here, but he's not. This is someone they already know. This is someone who is already their friend. This is someone who has already been on the path of wisdom and Stoic philosophy, and they want to save him. The guy, he's doing wrong, and so he's not showing up, right? You've seen this with your friends. You've seen this before. You've been this person before, where you're doing the wrong thing, so you don't want to hang around the people that are doing the right thing, because you know that they're going to set you back on the path. You don't want to be shown your sin. You don't want to be shown the thing that you're doing that is wrong, okay? They still have hope for him, right? Seneca is saying, I can still potentially save this guy, right? It's not like he's just going after someone who never was on the path and saying, I'm gonna prevent them from fucking up their life. That's not gonna happen. Number 5, he will act in his usual way. He will have recourse to his wit, the wit that can call forth smiles even from mourners. He will turn the jest first against himself and then against me. He will forestall every word which I am about to utter. He will quiz our philosophic systems. He will accuse philosophers of accepting doles, keeping mistresses and indulging their appetites. He will point out to me one philosopher who has been caught in adultery, another who haunts the cafes, and another who appears at court. Seneca is kind of prepared, and you should be too. When you confront someone who's doing wrong, especially a clever person, they're going to like dodge. They're going to shirk. They're going to be like, oh, and they're going to come back and they're going to retort. And, and this is just a useful skill to have in life, is that before you go to talk to someone, especially if you go to an interview, like a job interview, rehearse what they're going to say. Any kind of negotiation, any kind of thing where you're going to talk or confront someone, you already know, if you know them fairly well, what they're going to say, what their objections are going to be, what they're going to, claim, and then you can overcome those things. So Seneca knows. He knows what's going to happen. The dude is going to make fun of what he's saying. He's going to turn it around on him. He's going to point to other philosophers and, use all these false kind of excuses. The other thing to do, with this wisdom that Seneca's doling out here, is to realize when you're doing this bullshit, okay? I do this bullshit, you do this bullshit. We all do, right? We are avoiding the truth by trying to justify, trying to convince someone else that's telling us the truth that they're actually wrong when we know we're wrong. Number 6, he will bring to my notice Aristo, the philosopher of Marcus Lepidus, who used to hold discussions in his carriage, for that was the time which he had taken for editing his researches. So that Scaurus said of him, when asked to what school he belonged, at any rate, he isn't one of the walking philosophers. Julius Gracinius, too, a man of distinction, when asked for an opinion on the same point, replied, I cannot tell you, for I don't know what he does when dismounted, as if the query referred to a chariot gladiator. So what he's saying here is that he's going to, call some examples, right, who claim to be philosophers, but no one even knows what the fuck they do. Okay, they're just writing notes when they're traveling. All right, we'll move on here. So number 7, he says, it is mountebanks of that sort for whom it would be more creditable to have left philosophy alone than to traffic in her, whom Marcellinus will throw in my teeth. Okay, so hypocrites, basically. But I have decided to put up with taunts. He may stir my laughter, but I perchance shall stir him to tears, or if he persists in his jokes, I shall rejoice, so to speak, in the midst of sorrow, because he is blessed with such a merry sort of lunacy. But that kind of merriment does not last long. Observe such men, and you will note that within a short space of time they laugh to excess and rage to excess. This is a type of a man, right, that Seneca clearly knows his human nature. Right, this is a guy that is going to laugh, and he's going to make jokes of things and make light of things. And when Seneca's trying to have a serious discussion with him, he's going to laugh, and he's going to make Seneca laugh. And Seneca's saying, well, hopefully I can move him to sorrow. Hopefully I can actually penetrate that and get to his core and actually get through to him. But if I don't, well, then at least he's insane. He's having fun in his lunacy. He's deceiving himself, but at least he's enjoying it. And he says that, it doesn't last long, because those people, they are also fit to rage. They laugh to excess and rage to excess. So they're going to pay the price, right? You can avoid responsibility. You can laugh things off, and maybe you're one of those kind of people. I've been before, where I'm just laughing shit off serious matters, right? It's easier to laugh things off, right? I remember when I was a kid, when kids used to pick on me, I used to laugh. I just think it's funny, right? I used to pretend like it's funny so that I'm hiding that, right? Instead, I should have stood up for myself. Instead, I should have not allowed myself to be bullied. I should have done those things. But I would do it now, right? But back then, I was using the laughter as a way to hide behind things. And maybe you do that too. Number 8. It is my plan to approach him and to show him how much greater was his worth when many thought it less. Even though I shall not root out his faults, I shall put a check upon them. They will not cease, but they will stop for a time, and perhaps they will even cease if they get the habit of stopping. This is a thing not to be despised, since to men who are seriously stricken, the blessing of relief is a substitute for health. So, he's got some pretty realistic expectations. His plan is basically to show him that he was better before he became the kind of whatever he's done to perform for the crowd, for the people, right? And you see this all the time, right? Sometimes, you get some attention and you become somewhat of an attention whore, okay? You see this. You see other people do this as well. But we do it from time to time, where we were better off, we were a better person when we weren't such an ass, when we weren't, getting the adoration of the crowds. And so his hope is that he will show him this. And he knows, realistically, it's not going to change. And you should know that when you point out someone's flaws, it doesn't change their behavior. It's going to temporarily change it. But maybe over time, by that changing for a long enough time and being reinforced, that it will bring about a permanent change. Number 9. So while I prepare myself to deal with Marcellinus, do you, in the meantime, who are able, and who understand whence and whither you have made your way, and who, for that reason, have an inkling of the distance yet to go, regulate your character, rouse your courage, and stand firm in the face of things which have terrified you. Do not count the number of those who inspire fear in you. Would you not regard as foolish one who is afraid of a multitude in a place where only one at a time could pass? Just so, there are not many who have access to slay you, though there are many who threaten you with death. Nature has so ordered it that, as only one has given you life, so only one will take it away. Only one can give you life, one person, and only one person can kill you. And that's kind of an interesting thing to think of. Like, there's a lot of people that are going to threaten to kill you, okay? But only one person can actually do it. That's how nature and life works. And so when you think about that, that applies to life in general, right? There's a lot of people that want to take you down, that want to bring you down. but maybe only one person can do that, right? Like you make the threat of things, like just because there's danger, you kind of group all the dangers together, but really you can only get tripped up by one of them. So you just have to be on guard for the one that's most likely to actually execute on that, right? Not all the possible dangers that are out there. And sometimes we live our lives in fear because of all the things that could go wrong, but really it only is going to likely be one thing that's going to take us down. So prepare for that one thing. Number 10, if you had any shame, you would have let me off from paying the last installment. Still, I shall not be niggardly either, but shall discharge my debts to the last penny and force upon you what I still owe. I have never wished to cater to the crowd, for what I know they do not approve, and what they approve I do not know. And I'll just continue on. 11. Who said this? You ask, as if you were ignorant whom I am pressing into service. It is Epicurus. But the same watchword rings in your ears from every sect. Peripatectic, academic, stoic, cynic. For who that is pleased by virtue can please the crowd. It takes trickery to win popular approval, and you must needs make yourself like unto them. They will withhold their approval if they do not recognize you as one of themselves. However, what you think of yourself is much more to the point than what others think of you. The favor of ignoble men can be won only by ignoble means. A lot of you have commented on my YouTube channel, okay? And I don't mean to like toot my own horn here, but I will a little bit. Is that, man, you should have so many more views. Like, this stuff is awesome, okay? And, you know, sometimes I make some awesome videos, okay? But I do think that I'm giving you guys some really good wisdom here on this channel, okay? It's some hard-fought won wisdom. The Bulldog mindset is not for everyone, and that's the whole point. A lot of you have said, like, oh, you should have more people, you should have more subscribers, you should have more people watching your videos. It's not going to happen because I'm not pleasing the crowd. Because the shit that I talk about, because, I don't know, I mean, I just released a video this week that got like 50% downvotes, okay? Because a lot of people don't want to accept that shit because they don't want that truth. They're fucking unsubscribing. It's fine. Okay, because it's not for everyone. Because I'm not going to cater to the crowd. I'm not going to make some stupid fucking prank video or, you know, do some stupid, like, super highly edited vlog in order to, like, dispel some bullshit to you that's not deep at all. That's worthless bullshit that just looks flashy. Not going to do it. Okay? And you shouldn't either. Fuck that. Okay? Create actual good value in this world. Right? Create stuff that people that will appreciate it will appreciate, okay? That should appreciate it, that don't cater to the crowd, okay? You can cater to the crowd and you can build a bunch of crowd. The most popular channels, the most popular stuff in the world will always be stupid drivel. It'll always be bullshit, okay? It doesn't mean that you can't gain a following in a crowd but you know what? Which crowd? I'd rather have a smaller crowd of you guys, of you bulldogs that are watching this, okay, that we're fucking bulldogs, okay? Rather than have a huge, humongous crowd of people that are just like fucking ordinary, watered down, they don't give a shit, okay? I'd rather have a much smaller crowd, a much smaller following of you guys. And you should too, okay? Otherwise, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck cares if you're in some movie and you're a celebrity and so all these people love you? They don't even know who the fuck you are. You haven't done anything. You aren't anyone. You got cast for a role and character. And not to discredit, I mean, a lot of actors work hard, but I'm just saying in general. You see what I'm saying? Like, you want to be known for who you are and what you think and what you do. Number 11. Where are we at? Okay. And the final thing, the favor of ignoble men can only be won by ignoble means. Remember that. I don't need to say more about that. Number 12. What benefit, then, will that vaunted philosophy confer whose praises we sing, and which we are told is to be preferred to every art and every possession? Assuredly, it will make you prefer to please yourself rather than the populace. It will make you weigh and not merely count men's judgments. It will make you live without fear of gods or men. It will make you either overcome evils or end them. Otherwise, if I see you applauded by popular acclamation, if your entrance upon the scene is greeted by the roar of cheering and clapping, marks of distinction meet only for actors, if the whole state, even the women and the children, sing your praises, how can I help pitying you? For I know that what pathway leads to such popularity? Farewell. Such a strong final statement here. So much things in here to unpack, okay? Pity is the worst of human emotions. Never seek pity from anyone. When someone pities you, to me, it is the highest form of disrespect, the biggest slap in the face that you can get. And it's not their fault for pitying you, it's your fucking fault. If you seek pity from someone, that is pathetic. It is the worst. I would never want pity. Never pity me. Never seek pity. He is saying here, he's reserving this for people who come in and everyone applauds them. He's saying that if everyone loves you, I know how you got there, and that's why I pity you. It's because you sold your fucking soul. Because you're worthless. Because you did ignoble things. Because you catered to the masses. Because you watered down your fucking message. Because you were going to post that video, but then you said people might not like that shit and they might unsubscribe. Because you were going to write that post. Because you were going to do that thing. Right? But then you were afraid. Because you're afraid of what people thought. And so you instead, you were a sellout. You did the thing that wasn't in your heart. You did the thing you didn't believe in order to get the claps. That's what he's saying here. He's saying also here, what is the benefit of this philosophy, right? And he talked about this earlier, and it is this. It's that basically he says here, it will make you prefer to please yourself rather than the populace. And it'll make you weigh and not merely count men's judgments. How many likes do you get on Facebook? How many of those likes fucking matter? Did you give yourself a like? Right? Do you like it? That's the question. That's the ultimate question. Don't fucking do things because other people think they're great. Or you get the acclaim of other people. Do things, live your life, make your decisions based on what pleases you. What do you consider right? What do you consider good? What do you consider to be worthwhile? And when you do get the judgment of other people, and they claim of other people, and someone does give you a fucking like, decide if that like has value. Not the number of likes, the value. Who gave you the like? Was it someone of value, of benefit, or was it someone who doesn't fucking matter? Was it just the crowd? Okay? And I love this, and we'll finish this up here. It will make you live without fear of gods or men. It will make you either overcome evils or end them. To live without fear of gods or men. How powerful of a thing is that? How many people can say that they live without the fear of gods or men? Not very many people. But if you are driven by this philosophy, by this Stoic philosophy, by this, we'll call it the Bulldog mindset here, because it's the same thing. If you're driven by that, you don't give a fuck what other people think. You don't even give a fuck what gods think. Okay? You care what you think. And when you care what you think, you don't fear men, and you don't fear gods, and you don't fear anything, and you can confront evil, or you can fucking end it. You can confront your own evils, your own demons, or you will end them. Power. That is the ultimate form of power, because it is self-power, and no one can take that away from you. That's all I got for you guys today. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button, listen to this powerful message from Seneca, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.